Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. Hello friends, today I am so excited to be bringing you some celebrity romances. So I decided to go kind of broad for this topic because in my book rec form, which you can find down below, I had a request to do some like singer recommendations, to do like actress recommendations, things like that. And now I don't have the full like enough recs to do either of those videos. So I decided to combine it and do a celebrity romance rec. So we're gonna go through these recommendations and I'll let you know what type of celebrity that they were. But I do have singers, actors, comedians, and a few other ones along the way. What's it called? An athlete as well. I have some of all of those. So let's go through these recs and hopefully you can find something that works for you. And just to let you know before we get started as well, I do have links to all these books that I'm talking about down below. You can find my Amazon affiliate links. It does help out the channel if you use that link to buy the book. Whether you use it to get the paperback or the ebook or the audiobook, all of it helps the channel a little bit. So just maybe something you might not have known, but that is why I list all of the books down below, is that not only so that it's a quick reference for you, but also that you can purchase the books that way. So let's go through. I plan to do this one as a quick rec video. We'll see if it works. We'll see. Jen doesn't always do that right. So the first one I want to mention is Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. So this one is between a fanfic writer who is plus size and living her wonderful life writing fanfic about her favorite TV show, and an actor who's one of the main leads on this show who actually has dyslexia but is also a fanfic writer. And so him and this fanfic author, they meet they meet online without knowing, and then there ends up being a time when our heroine actually cosplays as one of the characters from the show, and people start making fun of her for being plus size and for being very cruel to her. And so our hero, he ends up like commenting and saying that he would love to take her out on a date to kind of like get people to shut up. Now, the heroine, you know, only sees this as being a like publicity stunt when honestly he just genuinely wanted to do something good for her. And when they meet in person, she definitely is like a bit skeptical of him, not realizing that he is kind of completely attracted to her and totally into her. And so they definitely do have a lot of miscommunications along the way with this. I know that this book can be a little bit like frustrating in that regard, but I also found it to be like very charming. And at the time that I read it, there were a lot of things about the heroine that I related to in my own like plus size journey of life. And, you know, where I have made the choice that I wanted to get healthier in the way that I did it, there are still parts of me that like feel the way that this heroine does in the book. And so I thought it was interesting in that aspect. So this one has an actor hero. Then, you know, just an excuse to show off my absolutely gorgeous cover from Hello Lovely box. There is Flawless by Elsie Silver. Yes, I know. It's fantastic. This has a bull rider hero, so we have an athlete, and he has sponsorships, and he's gotten himself into a bit of hot water at the beginning of this story where he has pissed off one of his sponsors, and he's quickly losing more of them. And so his manager sends in his daughter, actually, to be his babysitter for the rest of the season of bull riding to make sure that he behaves himself. And yeah, so it leads us to some forced proximity, some only one bed. There's an age gap. There is, I wouldn't say hate to love, but I would say like dislike to love, or like, you know, that kind of start. But the heroine actually was a big fan of his when she was young, and she had a poster of him in her room. So she doesn't dislike him. It's more he doesn't like having a babysitter, but he might need one in the beginning of this. Then we have another couple of actors to share, and we have A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone, and it just happens to be about time to start reading this again. And I actually need to read, I know there was a novella in this series that was put out recently. I need to snatch that up, but this is about the filming of a movie which is supposed to be a little bit like it's supposed to be a little bit like a Hallmark movie. But the thing is, our hero, he is an ex like boy band member, and he's trying to fix his image after things broke up with the band and things went really badly. And he actually needs to be an actor and make some money because he's supporting his family. And so, you know, a lot of the money now is like gone from his younger years, and he needs to get back on it, right? And then our heroine is actually a plus size woman who is a sex worker, and she wants to get into kind of some more legitimate movies. And so her producer, who has done the adult films and the adult stuff she has done, actually like gets her in for she ends up getting position in this one. But he's like, nobody can know that you've worked with the adult side of this, or there's no way that we will get hired to do this small movie. The only thing is, when they get to the set of this, and she meets the hero in person, it turns out that he is one of her patrons, as it were, on her adult website. And he is intimately aware of what she does outside of this. So yeah, actually too, both of them are bisexual. There's toys involved in this. There is just some really angsty goodness and lots of like forbidden love happening in this, because they need to keep their reputations clean, and they immediately struggle to do that because they are very attracted to each other. So I enjoyed this one a lot, and I highly do recommend this. I'm not someone who actually reads a lot of Christmas romances, but I received an audio arc of that one, and I was really glad that I did. I liked it a lot. All right, then we have another actor one, and this is actually an actor and a director romance. So we have Real by Kennedy Ryan. Such an amazing book, just such a beautiful book of Black love and just deep connect. I mean, can Kennedy Ryan write anything else? Like, she just writes these fantastic stories. It's amazing. And so this one is between Canon and, wow, her name just went on in my head too. I hate when this happens. Canon and Neva. And Canon is a director. Neva is an actress. She's currently on the stage. She's doing like off-Broadway. She's singing, and Canon goes to her performance with a friend, and he's been looking for the actress to play the lead in his upcoming like biopic that he's going to be making about this underappreciated woman from the Harlem Renaissance, Desi Blue. And he sees Neva perform, and he says, that is my Desi Blue. I must have her. And so he goes about getting her hired to be the lead in this. The few issues is, number one, these two are wildly attracted to each other, and he has previously been involved with an actress on one of his films, and it crashed and burned, so he does not want to repeat that no matter how much he's attracted to Neva. And second, Neva, she has a chronic illness, and as she is under the pressure of being the lead in a, movie musical that is not only just her big break, but also becomes so important to her in her like heart. it means so much to her. The pressure of this starts to exacerbate her illness. That could be life-threatening if not handled properly, or if she doesn't speak up about it. So those are the issues with this one. But this is absolutely beautiful, kind of forbidden romance, a workplace romance. And dear Lord, is this amazing. I highly recommend the audiobook, which has music in it and has fantastic performers included. So highly recommend Real, like really, really do. It's also a great Kennedy Ryan if you want to read like a standalone. I mean, a lot of hers are, but I feel like that's it could be a great intro to Kennedy Ryan for you. If you don't want to dive into the Grip trilogy or sports romance isn't your thing, like I think it could be a great one for you to start with. Then we have a recent release, which is one of the ones that spurred me into making this, is Hideaway Heart by Melanie Harlow. This one is a bodyguard romance for a heroine who is a country singer, and she just wants to have a 2-week vacation all on her lonesome, and so she pushes everybody away, and she's going to stay at this little house hiding away, but her big brother is like, nah, you need to have protection, and so he calls in a favor with a friend of his who is a private security guy, and he asks him to go and stay with his sister for the few days. And it turns out being good that he does, because there is a paparazzi that's stalking her, and she also just isn't making the best decisions for her safety. So yeah, this one was a forced proximity bodyguard romance. And I loved how Melanie Harlow had this one play out. I just really do. Because there are a few things about bodyguard romance that can become frustrating if the heroine won't, or if the client won't let the bodyguard protect them. If they, just like blow off without telling them, or they make stupid decisions and don't listen, it can become very frustrating, because it's like the bodyguard is there to protect you. They will literally take a bullet for you, cover your body with their own. And so for you to just recklessly like run away without any care for, like what they're there to do, I very quickly get frustrated in a bodyguard romance, right? But in this case, I feel like there was just enough of that push and pull in the beginning where you're kind of like frustrated with her, but she also realizes that like, hey, he's here. He'll take a bullet for me if I need it, And so I liked watching the evolution of her, first being like, God, why did my brother do this? I just want to be alone, to her realizing like, oh, maybe I do need someone, to deferring to him to like, is it safe for us to do this or whatever. Loved that. Loved it. And of course, it got a little spicy in their little cabin together. It was great. Then we have Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt. So this one is a comedian and her manager. And now her manager, he actually used to be a comedian as well. And he has a daughter and who's deaf, I believe, too. It's been a little while since I read this. But this is Meyer and Farley. And so they end up in a fake dating scenario to try to help her career. But they've been friends for quite a while as well. So it's fake dating, friends to lovers. And it's just so sweet. And they're on like tour for her, her act that she has, her show. And it was just really, really beautiful. I can't wait to read some more Tara DeWitt. I have purchased some recently, so I plan to read more of those this fall. Her books are just so cozy. I think this is a perfect book for fall. And yeah, it's just so cute. I totally understand why this was so many people's favorite book last year. And I loved it. I thought it was so sweet. Was it last year or was it this year? I don't even remember when I read it. I think it was last year. It was good. All right, then we have basically the entire Bodyguard and Billionaire series by Kristen Becca Ritchie. Like, this whole series is famous people. The series before it technically is to the Hathaway sisters. Like, all Kristen Becca Ritchie is pretty much famous people romances, so I won't touch on them too much. But my intro to Kristen Becca Ritchie was actually with the Billionaires and Bodyguard series, with the first book, which was Damaged Like Us, I believe is the first one. And this is an bodyguard romance. And yeah, our hero, I think he's like the celebrity is like the oldest in the family of these like celebrities, and he's like the second generation of these reality stars, and they have a lot of children. Let's just say that there's a lot of them. And then his bodyguard is someone that they've always kind of had some sexual tension before, and so he is like, I don't want this guy as my bodyguard because I'm too attracted to him, and he only does one night stands, so he doesn't want to fall for anyone that he'd have to see all the time. But I just really love their connection. And I say this every time I mention it. This was one of the like first series of that I read. So it always has a close place to my heart. But I really enjoyed this whole series a lot. I have since like stopped reading it because I've just got a bit tired with like how many books in the series there were. But I also appreciate an author who like doesn't leave any characters behind, like they're gonna keep writing these couples. But it just got a little bit exhausting at a certain point, like waiting for stuff to happen. But I do recommend this series if you like celebrity romance, or if you like a little along the lines of Gossip Girl, you like it to be a little bit toxic, like this is it for you. Okay, it's good. It's good. There is Lies and Lullabies by Serena Bowen. This one is a rock star, and it's also a secret baby, but it's the type of secret baby that I'm okay with. So our hero, he actually takes a break in the beginning of this series. He's taking a break and he goes to this small town and he spends the summer there, and he ends up kind of falling for this girl who lives there. and they hook up, and I think he was using a fake name when he was there, or else he has like a different name as his like rock persona. I can't remember. It's been a little while since I read this one, but he left her behind with a little bun in her oven and then went off. And it's been quite a few years since he's been back to this town, but he ends up coming back and he discovers he had a kid. And this is one that I believe the heroine at a certain point does find out who he is, but she doesn't know how, like, but she doesn't contact him. So it's about halfway what I'm okay with. Like, she has some time to get a hold of him. Like, she doesn't know right away, but there is a point in which she knows and she still doesn't like reach out because then she feels like it's been too long. Like, so it's not my perfect scenario for it, but I really liked how the hero reacts when he finds out. And I also did understand her hesitation of like, she was afraid that she could lose her child to him. She was afraid of, you know, that she didn't really know him because he'd used a fake name. So, you know, again, it didn't trigger me, let's say, the way that one I read last week did. We'll say that. And then there is Make It Sweet by Kristen Callahan. And this one is about an actress who gets killed off of her show. And she's not allowed to say anything yet because the episodes haven't aired. So she decides to go a little bit into hiding for a while. So she ends up in this small town. And she also was, like, I think she was cheated on by her partner as well. I don't know, but she goes to this small town to kind of hide out until it's time for the episodes to air. And she meets this hero there who he actually is a baker. But he was, did he play football? Did he play hockey? I can't remember what he played. But he actually is a baker now. And they meet in this small town and they fall in love. And so they're both kind of celebrities in their own right. But the heroine, I felt for her so much because she was completely blindsided by the death of her character. And so to have it happen and then like not be able to talk about it or complain about it for a while, like that would be so hard. So I definitely feel for her with that. But yeah, those are my recommendations for celebrity romances. Let me know some of your favorites. I mean, obviously, like, these break up into categories, right? Like athletes, there are a bazillion of those. But for like actors and singers, I actually haven't read too many of them. So that's kind of why I like lump them together in here. So thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you'd like to buy any of the books that I mentioned, I do have links down below. If you'd like to support what I do here and make sure I can keep doing it, you can check out the links to my Patreon and channel memberships or make a one-time donation below to support my coffee habit. So check that out, or as simple as liking this video and commenting down below will help me out. So thanks so much for watching, friends, and I'll see you next time. Bye.